don't chew either. I'll just chew. I know. I'm going to tuck in.
I've got mints, actually.
I've tucked in. Don't get them out. We've got to start. You can't be getting mints out while we're starting. Hello. What are you doing with that zip? Ready? You ready? Just keep still. To be honest, don't really know what I'm doing.
He was often a player that I would buy on Football Manager.
It's already a terrible reason.
From Jon Snow, Matt puts Dan's wardrobe to shame.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Look at him, the cat that got the cream.
Ian Taylor said it was the worst thing he'd ever seen in his life.
My theory on referees is you give them the nicest changing room in the stadium.
This is the most bizarre thing I've ever
Hear me out.
I cannot believe Gabriel Bondahor's younger
That's
than
crazy,
That's
isn't
terrible.
it?
Yeah, we may well have lost listeners early doors again with a long-winded intro. Go, shoot. Hello, welcome to the Villa View podcast with myself, Dan Bardell, and obviously as it's Halloween it made sense to draft that hair in for the Halloween special. It's Chris Dolan on my right. How are you?
Dressed as?
I've come dressed quite smart because I presumed you'd wear a suit or something, and then you...
I wore a suit once and then all of a sudden I've been labelled with like some sort of branded suit. Where in fact Tom wears more suits than me.
Yeah, but his suits are dead, mate. So at least like, when you come in wearing a suit, you know it's going to be quite Beatley or moddy. Yeah, but you're wearing a corduroy jacket for those who are listening
or black
via audio. Pleased to be back.
Yeah, I'm trying to think the last time we did podcast.
There.
No, but myself, it was maybe
earlier on in the season. I'm imagining it was in a bad run.
No, I think we'd just been beaten in the League Cup.
Yeah.
It was back in the day when I was very optimistic still.
I mean, to be honest, I did have a glimpse of your predictions that we're going to come on to later, and
I've forgotten about them.
They looked pretty optimistic.
I'm back.
Yeah. So obviously people ask for Dolan to come back, bring back Dolan quite a lot. Tonight he's here, so welcome. Good to have you.
It's good to be
Good to have
here.
you back, although I must be honest, I don't like it when you're here.
What?
Because I don't like leading. I don't like having to write notes. I
couldn't do it.
I don't like doing the notes.
No.
I don't like leading. So, to me, I always prefer it when Tom's here. But to you, it makes no difference whether it's me or Tom, because one of us does the notes.
Yeah, I just sit back and chat away.
Yeah, obviously, we were both at QPR on Friday. Another defeat. Tom was with us as well.
Last minute, he just sort of appeared.
Yeah, Tom decided to turn up, so always nice to see him at a Villa game, because let's face it, it doesn't happen very often. But, yeah, another defeat. Chris, what did you think of the game?
I thought we played really well. I don't think I've ever been to a Villa game where I've felt so in control. They were dreadful.
No, this is not how I remember you being after the game.
Yeah, I wasn't chuffed. Of course, we got beat. That's the bottom line. We lost the game to a very, very average QPR side, but it was, for me, you know, we've discussed it. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of time for him because he's got such a different style of play to what the players have been used to the last 2 years. It's going to take an awful lot of time for this to sort of gel and to bed in. But I thought, you know, and surely you would agree that to have 68% possession for an away game, for me, it's a good sign. It's a positive sign. But you know, it was one long ball, another mistake, and we got punished. But I thought, I was sort of looking back and reflecting. I was fairly upbeat with the performance, but obviously the result, not good.
I mean, I think, admittedly, we had a few beers. So I think things are always different after you've had a few beers at an away game. Usually I'm quite level-headed after a Villa game because I haven't been drinking, but obviously we'd been out in the day. So I think I've put here, on reflection, a better performance than I'd felt when I was there. And I don't know whether that's... I'm going to come on to this. I don't know whether that's because there was a lot of negativity around where I was sitting, which I didn't...
You had it, yeah.
Which I didn't really enjoy. So maybe that was...
It sounded like you were sitting beside some real...
Yeah, well, I'll come on to that.
Real clowns.
Maybe that like clouded my judgment a little bit. But actually, on reflection, and when I looked back at the game, it was a good performance. I think
so.
Seeing us dominate a game like that's not been seen too many times over the last few years. It's just.
I thought we kept the ball really, really well. Still, you know, it's that cutting edge, you know. But the thing is, we have the players now. I think in the final third, to really hurt teams. So I think once we get that cohesion and that blend right, I still don't think whether he knows whether to play Hogan. I don't know if he wants to play Tammy up front. I don't know how he wants to play it. Do you play Kodja, Adoma? Does Blassie come in?
Adoma will be straight back in when he's fit, I think.
Yeah, the way he played against well, he was playing very well against Norwich and then went off. So I just don't think Dean Smith quite knows his first 11 yet. I think there's a few players that he's unsure of.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see more of a settled team in the next 3 or 4 games. But unfortunately, time just runs out if we want to push for those top 6 places, and it's looking. I don't know. It's looking. We're looking a long way back.
You're talking about Hogan. I think he probably wants to play Hogan.
Yeah, of course he does. But do we have the players
equally
around him?
I don't think you can drop Tammer.
No, you can't.
I know he didn't score at the weekend, but on Friday, but he's a pure finisher, and 9 times out of 10 he sticks that chance away straight after half time from the set piece. He buries that because he is an instinctive finisher. He's a good composed finisher as well, Abraham. So I don't see how he's going to play them both, because he ain't going to move either of them out wide. It's not like Codger where you can play him out wide. He's going to have to play 2 up front if he wants to play Hogan, I think, and I just can't see that formation.
I don't think the 2 up front for us works. I personally think we're better suited to that 4 kind of 3-3, or even the 4-2. What's the
3-1?
3, yeah.
You got to you got to count the players, Chris. Get 10 in there.
Yeah. As long as we can get Jack in that number 10 role, that's for me. That's the key. He has to play there.
To me, the first game, Swansea at home, which we won 1-0. Jack played number 10. The 2 games since away games, we've gone back to a 4-3-3, and Jack is playing on the left-hand side of a central 3. In my opinion, that was how I looked at it.
And we haven't won.
And we didn't win either of those games. Do you think maybe it's a bit safe 4-3-3 compared to a 4-2-3-1? Because McGinn was playing right central midfield, but for me,
with so many options,
he was so far. He was so wide the whole game on the right hand side, and that didn't suit him. I didn't think.
No.
My dad said to me he thought McGinn was the best player on the park. But that
on
wasn't
Friday?
that wasn't what I saw. Because to me, he was too wide. He was not in an area where he's going to be effective.
I thought he did well. I thought he was the one. I thought him and Mohammed did quite well. I thought they linked up quite well.
I think he's playing too far wide right in that game. To me, he just seemed too near the touchline all the time.
I hadn't actually picked that up. But
and he's going to cut in because he has to, because he's a one-footed player.
Yeah.
I think he works a bit more with Connor when he plays on the right. I think he prefers playing on the right of central midfield. For McGinn, I think he prefers it on the left, and it looks more balanced when he's on the left. But same goes for Jack. When we're playing a 4-3-3, I don't think Jack is very good on the right, but on the left, he's more interesting because he can tuck in and cut in. and he offers us more.
Yeah, I just don't know whether we're going to go, with a different style of play home and away, or is he just going to keep that same kind of philosophy?
I mean, we certainly had a lot of the ball.
We did.
We did many things right.
We did, and if McGinn goes down in the first half when he got clipped, and he stayed in his feet early on in the first half. Obviously, they were shooting at the other end of us, but I mean, if you look back, he gets clipped and he stays in his feet.
Yeah,
and he goes down, and it's a penalty.
Yeah,
but
Leighton Castles said, have you ever had a spell where there's been 2 defeats, but you've actually come away with more positives and feeling better than you ever have done?
I wasn't too chuffed about it. I don't think we were that good against Norwich.
First half we were right.
First half we were okay, but I thought we were much better on Friday. But Norwich for me, you wouldn't think would be sent it this season after they lose their best 2 players. But Norwich for me are kind of like the benchmark. I thought they played some really good stuff, and even last night against Bournemouth they played some really good football.
They were lucky last night, weren't they?
Very unlucky, very very unlucky, and they've got a philosophy, and it's taken them 12 to sort of 15 months to sort of to get that going, But Norwich for me wasn't great. I thought we kind of buckled a little bit. How many times under Bruce have we been 1-0 up away and ended up coming away from a 2-1? Getting beat 2-1. I thought Norwich wasn't great. Friday, on the other hand, I thought was a lot better.
Yeah, we created chances, didn't we? But we lacked that finishing touch.
Just that cutting edge.
Do you think that'll come? More time in the training ground. Smith has still had no time in the training ground with the players.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the way the media and the fans think Dean Smith's some sort of god who can come in and wave a magic wand over everyone, and sprinkle a little bit of dust, and hey ho, everything's fantastic, and we're all tippy tappy, and it's all beautiful one touch football. That's not the way it works, and everyone's just been hyping him up so much. Give the guy some time to settle in and have a few training sessions under his belt, and then we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, the first 3 fixtures he's had, they've all come across the space of 6 days.
Yeah.
And plus the international break when he came in. So really, many of the players, he's not worked with them.
You can't coach them. It's all about recovery rather than coaching, So.
Yeah, and obviously we need that coaching, don't we? Coming off the back of the last regime where he's a bit kind of hit and hope.
Exactly. But no, give him time. I think this for me, this appointment is a long-term appointment. I personally don't feel that that will make it out of this division this season. I think we're going to have to suffer one more year, you know, because he's going to want to get he's going to want to get it in his own players.
Yeah.
You know, that's not his team at all. You know, he's going to want to get in at least 3 or 4 players in January and maybe 3 or 4 in the summertime. So I just think we're looking too far back, and I think the way our season's going to go is very much the way it did in the first season
when Bruce came in the same time.
Kind of had a little bit of a run, and then we faded off, and then we had a bit of a charge again. A very stop start. I mean, you look at this season already, and we've lost 10 points from when we've been in front. You know,
yeah, it's bad.
Very inconsistent and very stop start. But give him time, and I think he's absolutely the right man for the job, and
yeah.
I think it'll go from strength to strength.
We touched on Grealish, and I've put down here, Grealish is getting absolutely smashed every game.
Yeah.
How much is that costing us? Because any time he gets anywhere near making a positive contribution, he's put on the deck by someone.
Yeah,
I thought QPR were quite clever, weren't they?
He does play for it as well. Let's be honest. He does at times. He looks to be fouled, you know, because that's clever. And you watch some of the best players in the world, and you look at how they play, and you're drawing the defender in, and there's times where you know on the edge of the box where you can see he's clearly looking to be taken down. But yeah, I mean there's the blatant hacks and the blatant.
It's every time though.
Yeah, no, totally.
Every time he has the ball, he's fouled, and I get what you're saying, that he's looking for it.
Not all the time,
a little
but
bit. He's trying to draw them in, but at some point, QPR have hacked him all game, and really there's not been any punishment for it.
No,
and it's cost us.
I can't recall of.
There weren't many yellow cards flying around. I seem to remember us getting a yellow card early on for not very much.
Yeah.
I just it's not even about protecting the player, although obviously we want him to be protected because he's one of our best players. But at some point we've got to gain something from all those fouls, and I just didn't feel like we did.
We've had quite a few free kicks on the edge of the box. You look at Connor's goal against Blackburn, that came from a jack foul, you know. And I do think if we can, you know. There's been a lot of occasions, I'd say, this season when he's been taken down, and we just haven't had that great ball into the box, you know. So I think if we can get it right, I think he's a threat, and with the quality of player that we have, like Connor, like Jack, from like Joe McGinn from a set piece.
Yeah, it was his ball that Tammy put it just wide.
I think
so.
Yeah. But you're right. He's being targeted. Of course he is. He's kind of like the Zaha of the championship. Yeah.
I mean, they pretty much admitted that was what they were doing after the game as well, which I don't think.
Why would you not? Why would you not?
No,
of course you would.
It just frustrates
because we're better than them. We've got better players than them.
They defended for their lives. I've got to say they defended very well.
They had nothing. I mean, I don't recall any keeper making a save. Do you? Really?
I don't remember Neelan making one.
He made one or two. Is it Smithies?
Nah, he's the last season keeper. I've forgotten Ingram, I think his name was.
He made one or two saves, but
really,
like, it was just very much possessed. It was all played in the middle of the park, you know, and we were the ones that kept the ball. But I don't recall there being many chances at all. But why would you not target our best player? Of course you would.
It's limiting him getting involved in the game though, and making things happen. Like people point to goals and assists from Jack, saying he's got 1 assist all season, I think. But to be fair to the guy, anytime he gets anywhere near the goal, he's usually pummeled. So he's not going to be getting goals and assists because he's the one getting pummeled all the time, and then someone's getting the assist off the set piece.
He's almost like a product of his own brilliance. You know, if I'm Steve McLaren and I'm playing Aston Villa, what do you say to your players? If you stop Jack Grealish, then you're going to stop the majority of attacks because it all flows through him.
I guess if we were the team that was using those methods to stop someone, I'd be sat here praising it. But because it's happening against us, it's frustrating me.
Of course it would.
It's frustrating. It's really. I found it really, really frustrating, and I found it frustrating throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
Last season, I felt like it happened, but not as frequently. This season so far, I feel like.
But to be fair, it happened on his day. Well, it was like one of his very, very Hull
first home appearance.
And he got chopped down, and you know nobody knew too much about him then. And I remember on matchday 2, we won that game 2-1.
1-0. No, 2-1. 2-1.
And
possibly 2-0 actually.
So yeah, he was getting chopped down left, right, and centre before anyone even knew anything about him.
Yeah.
So it's happened from day one.
I think people knew about him. Sometimes you know about. I've known about him for. Obviously, I'm a Villa fan. You're a Villa fan, but you will have heard of Jack Grealish when he was 13, 14.
Yeah, well, whenever he went to Notts County on loan.
Yeah, but even before that, I'm saying when he was a schoolboy.
Right,
you'd have heard about him and known he was coming up. So football circles would have known about him and known he's dangerous. But it's limiting him, and obviously,
but that's exactly what.
As I've said, people have pointed to the stats. But he's getting a chance to get goals and assists.
But there's been a few occasions this season where if it was last season, he would have had a pot shot, and he
had a shot on Friday that was close.
He seems like there's been times where he could have had a dig.
Oh, he definitely needs to shoot more.
And he's whereas that Cardiff goal last season, that he wouldn't do that this season. He was just so confident last season, and there's a bit of a lack of confidence, and it's been a tough summer.
That's from the whole team. It feels still like there's a bit of a lack of confidence.
From back to front, there's an entire lack. Even in the stands, there's a real lack of confidence. So at the minute, it's pretty flat. But no, we'll get there.
Fullbacks. Brand football Smith wants to play.
I'm surprised he's played Hutton. I'm surprised he started him the last 3 games, I must say.
Because you were going about consistency of selection earlier, but that back four's been the same, and the goalkeeper. For 3 games.
Let's not discuss the goalkeeper.
Well, I don't think anything was his fault on Friday.
Well,
I agree he could have been doing better this season, but he's also kept us in some games as well. You're not having it.
No, not at all. No,
but I wasn't what I was talking about anyway.
Sorry.
Interrupting me. So he's kept that back four. It almost feels like to me that is going to be the back four until January. That he won't change that. It feels like he's come in and that they're cemented as the back four, and he's just going to try and make a cohesive unit out of those four.
I honestly don't know what to say about the back four. I don't even know what's going to happen. We've been left in such a mess. We've been left so short. I don't even know what to say. What's going to happen? I have no idea. If I walked into that club at Dean Smith, I'd be like, what is going on here?
I'm sure he did do that.
And you feel for Chester, and because the guy is absolute quality, and you can't cover. He seems to be covering every one of his teammates because they're constantly out of position, and you can't.
Twanzabe's been good the last few games.
He's been very good.
And I don't think Tyler's as bad as he's made out.
No, I thought he had a decent game on Friday night, but I'd love to see Brie. I think we all would, Yeah.
Where is Brie? That's one of the things I've got down here. Where's James Brie? Scott Babb wants to know. I don't know whether he thinks that we know the answer to that question, but I certainly haven't got the answer.
In Nando's, probably having his dinner, but I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, he's sort of made the odd appearance here and there this season.
But not under Smith.
At centre back, didn't he?
Oh God, yeah. The poor guy.
We'll see. I think Friday's the time where you can maybe make a few changes for. But do
you think he will change that back four?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I get the impression he won't.
I'd like to think he would, because as great a servant as Hutton's been for us, he just seems to be getting caught time and time again out of position.
He's not been at his best this season for sure.
No, he hasn't.
I thought he was very, very good in our top 4 or 5 players
I thought
last season.
At left back he was phenomenal last season, but
there's obviously a reason that Smith is picking him. There's something in there that Smith's saying, I think he's the best man for the job. Because I've got to say, as an absolute, if I'd have had to have picked maybe 5 players that I thought would definitely play in Smith's first game, I'd have had Brie in there. I thought because Brie's probably better going forward and likes to bomb on a bit. He's good on the ball, good with the ball at his feet. Actually, Brie, I had him down as a certainty.
I still think our best. To be fair, I know he's done well going forward this season, but I think our best back four as it stands now is El Mohammadi, Chester, Twanzebe, and possibly Taylor.
I'm inclined to agree with that, but I just think at some point, Brie being here for him has been a complete waste of time. I think it stunted his development completely. He needed a loan last season because he barely got any football. I just think at some point we've paid this money for this guy. He was a hot prospect. He was doing very well at Barnsley. At some point we've got to play him because otherwise we'll never know.
But he came in last season and played in the playoff semis at home against Borough.
Yeah, kept alternating at fullback.
And had a really good game.
I mean, the games
he's come in, he's never done anything. Has he ever done anything wrong?
And I've got to be honest, the games he's come in have always been under bad circumstances. He was last minute on the bench against Cardiff, and then he ended up coming on for Twanzebe, who was injured, and playing at left back, which can't have been easy. I think the guy's had a really raw deal since he's been in.
I think he has, and he's not piped up at all on social media. He's not, he's always...
I don't think anyone should be doing that, really, but
people do, you do. I mean, I do it, and I'm not even
some of your posts
have been dreadful.
Yeah, something wrong with you. You're very split personality, you are. You're either up here. Well, I think Tom said this to you on Friday.
Did he?
You're either up here or you're down there.
Yeah, there's no
middle ground with you. We're either going to win the league or we're going to get relegated. No mid-table with you, Dolan.
No. Well, why sit in the fence?
Yeah.
All or nothing.
I mean, you're giving you, to be fair, by being all up or all down, you are giving yourself a bit of leeway.
Yeah, I just as we were saying, I just think he's as you said, he's at a dreadful time, and it's funny because the fans, like, I just never think the fans get enough credit for making opinions. You know, like, we've seen it so often, and we've called it so many times, and I think if Bruce had have not been as stubborn and paid attention to what we were saying on the terraces and what was being said in the media.
I mean, he was obviously reading social media towards the end of his tenure.
Of course he was, and that's when, you know, whenever you don't trust your own judgment, that's when, you know, things aren't sort of working out. But if you had paid attention and listened to what we were saying and played players in the right positions, he might still be in a job.
I think as a manager, the reason I thought Bree wasn't playing under Bruce was because Bruce would pick the more, you know, most players who he'd see as good pros. So
he loves the good pros.
He'd pick the Huttons
of course,
because they're a good pro, and that's what Bruce liked.
Yeah.
I thought under Smith, he'll pick the player who's maybe the better footballer.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I would have down Bree as probably being a more natural footballer than Alan Hutton. I'm not trying to knock Alan Hutton here, but I thought he was a certainty to pick Bree. But
isn't it funny? Like,
there's obviously a reason.
Isn't it funny whenever we thought Smith's first team was going to be like all out, guns blazing, Balassi, the whole works? And he plays El Mohammadi. He plays pretty much the same team as Bruce played.
But there's a difference, isn't there? Because when Bruce picks El Mohammadi, he's basically playing as a second fullback when he's in midfield. But when Smith's picking him, it's perceived that he's more of an out-and-out winger playing in a front three, and he's more attacking. And he had a good game. And we were trying to think, weren't we, if you had to pick a player from Villa this season who's been the most consistent, the best performer, there's not many names leap out of you. But actually, El Mohammadi's got a decent output, and he's been reasonably consistent. If I had to pick a most consistent, I think it would be him.
How many assists?
I mean, don't mess around with the audio. I've already told you once not to do that. I don't like it when you take the mouse into your own hands. Technical side is usually taken by Tom Julian, and Dolan's there. And he's trying to make a mess of it. He's making me answer. Don't touch that mouse. I've told you already not to touch that mouse.
Told off here.
Yeah,
live on air. How many?
He's got a couple of assists and he's scored a couple of goals as well.
But in his career for us, in his past sort of 2 seasons,
his first goal was the first game of the season.
Yeah, but assist-wise last season,
I don't know. He's got the trouble is with Mohamed is his delivery. It's very 1 in 10.
It is, yeah.
He'll put in a worldy ball. Then the next few will be awful.
It'll not even reach the first man.
Friday, Grealish put him in. He got a great position, but he was in the penalty area. And to me, as a footballer, no, I'm not a footballer. I would think when you're in the penalty area, crossing the ball, you go hard and low every time.
Yeah, totally.
He went high and kicked it in the stand.
Yeah.
Which seemed to me a ridiculous decision, and that was a good chance gone after some good football. We played good football.
He's very hot or cold.
Decision making.
Yeah.
You've thrown me with you trying to mess up with the audio.
I was trying to get a stats up there, but
it's not the time.
You've cut me off.
Yeah, rightly so. Tom wouldn't have been having that if he was sat here.
Sorry.
Should point out as well, for those of you that are watching via the video medium, Dolan tried to sit in my seat, and for the first time I thought, I'm not having it. He can sit over there.
And you can see
he doesn't like it.
I'm quite pissed.
What is it you don't like about being that side?
It's just not a good angle.
To me, your face is completely symmetrical. Even the hair's pretty symmetrical. Obviously, like Lego hair is perceived as being quite symmetrical. I think
we were on the concourse at half time, and me and Tom, and we were getting a drink, and some guy was like, "Oh, Dolan, I love you in the podcast, but your haircuts were rubbish."
It's fair play. Fair play to the guy.
Yeah, fair play, yeah. Superb.
I had someone coming to me at QPR and start speaking to me and tell me that they used to like Matt Lynch better than me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't having that. He said they like me better now, but I was thinking that's not really a compliment because Matt doesn't do anything anymore. No compliment to be had there, no positive to take from that conversation. Someone had said here actually about seeing you on the concourse. Smithy on Twitter says, "Why didn't Dolan buy you a pint?"
Didn't ask me for one.
Yeah, well, he took exception to it.
He should have said, "Buy me a pint." I'd be like, "Yeah, what are you having, mate?" But he didn't. Yeah. He just went, "All right, Dolan," and shook me hand.
Right, we've deviated, gone a bit social there, but let's get back to the game. I've got a question here for you. What do you make of the subs? Were you surprised the third sub wasn't made? Just throw Connor or Hogan on?
Surprised he brought on Whelan over Hurahan whenever Berger came off.
Because we were losing? Or just in general?
Just bring on a bit of flair. Bring on somebody if we're losing. Bring on somebody that can whip a ball in or whip a 15-yard free kick in the top corner. You know what I mean?
I should say I thought Berger was having a good game.
He was, and I think Smith likes him. And I think he was playing, as you said, he was having a really good game.
There's a lot to like about Bjarnason, I think.
There wasn't when he first came in. It was like, oof.
No, even then I just thought this guy's been very hard done by. He's been played in a different position every week. He's playing left wing back.
Yeah.
He's never played in this league before.
Yeah.
I just thought he was completely hard done by.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he's proved that he's a good footballer, and now many fans would have him as one of the first names on the team sheet.
Yeah.
So that shows a bit of patience. You got to have a bit of patience with people.
Totally.
So, yeah, I think Bree can come. That's what I'm saying about Bree. Bree can come good for us. He doesn't have the chance. He's been very hard done by since he's been here.
Yeah, I agree. Substitutions. I can't even.
He brought Burke came off and Whelan came on.
Yeah,
and I've got to be honest. I'm not saying Whelan had like Norwich. Not saying he had a bad game. Not saying he had a good game.
Just quite
I just didn't really notice him.
Yeah. He just kind of goes under the radar, doesn't he?
If you're a centre back and you're not noticed, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
If you're a midfield player, it's not necessarily a good thing, is it?
No.
And I like Whelan. I've always been a big champion of his, but do you think he fits into Smith's vision, or do you think at the end of the season he's gone?
I think he's gone. I think there'll be a lot of changes actually in January. I think there's quite a few players like that on big money.
What about Lansbury as well? He was on the bench.
Just about to say that.
Where's he?
I don't know what's going on with him.
That move's been a disaster, hasn't it? Really, for player and club.
Yeah, but he hasn't helped himself, has he?
I feel a bit for him because again, I don't think he's had a run. But for me, he's never looked fit from the minute he's been here.
No.
He played well in his first game, and since then, I've never thought you look fit, Yuda.
The only time I've seen him live was against Rotherham away, and we won 2-0, and it was like he was running on quicksand.
Yeah.
He was just so sluggish. So sluggish.
He's on big money as well.
He'd be on 35, 40k a week, easy, mate.
Do you think at some point Smith will give him a chance?
We've got so many players.
They've got a lot of midfield players
in that area, and then up top, it's the back four. You know,
he played centre back in training, didn't he, under Bruce at one point because he posted on his Instagram. Lansbury.
Jeez.
Maybe he was on the bench as backup centre back.
Oh God!
But in that deep role, do you not think there's a case for maybe someone like Lansbury over Whelan? If you wanted to play the football, Lansbury's got a good passing range. You're not thinking that deep role, but has he got the mobility?
Has he got the mobility?
But then has Whelan got the mobility?
Yeah, but he's fit. He's still a fit.
As I say, I like Whelan. I'm just throwing questions out there. I'm taking the Tom Julian role tonight. I'm just throwing nonsense out there and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, no, I always think if you can have that, I think we need an anchor man. I thought Jednak towards the end of last season was brilliant. I think Bjarnason has made that. He's made that his own now over the last few weeks. If he's not in, I'd put Connor in as a replacement because I think he offers so much more going forward and on set pieces as well.
His pass, because this is what I'm not getting with the deep midfielder. Bjarnason's passing is, I don't think it's his strong suit, but it's decent.
Yeah, but he picks it up and plays a short pass, and then
Whelan's passing again is decent, but I'm not sure he's going to get round and be that deep lying midfielder that Smith wants long term. So I just think why not play Connor there?
I agree.
Because I think he's got one of the best passing ranges at the club. Like you say, his dead ball delivery is second to none in that team. He's got the fitness to get round the pitch, and I think he can play a defensive midfielder.
We've been getting a lot of stick for sort of championing him and backing him. I don't know why.
I mean, to be fair, we get stick for lots of things.
I don't know why, because he's got a proven track record. When he plays for us, something usually happens.
I'd expect as the season goes on and the players become more comfortable in what Smith wants to do, I'd expect Connor and Bjarnason to be the two that are fighting for that position, and then Connor maybe moves forward when McGinn or Grealish doesn't play.
How do you see January?
I don't know at the moment.
Ins and outs. I
don't know. We've had a few questions about that actually. Richard Griffiths has asked if Dean Smith could raid Brentford for one player, who would we take? And I've put 3 players down, so I've not really answered the question there. Don't you be stealing my answers.
I couldn't tell you 3 Brentford players.
You could.
I couldn't.
You definitely could.
I definitely couldn't.
I'll give me 3 Brentford players right now.
Molly Watkins.
Ollie Watkins.
Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins.
Tom Julian seat.
I couldn't.
You can.
Couldn't.
The striker, Malpay, you couldn't name him.
I can now, because you've told me.
I could name you a few, but maybe I'd pay a bit more interest in Brentford because they're local to me.
Yeah.
So I've put 3 players down here. Watkins, Rico Henry, who's had a lot of injuries, and the defender, Metham. Not Carl Henry, no. Rico Henry for sure.
Who's the right back?
Yeah, so I couldn't tell you that. I couldn't tell you the right back, but do we need a right back? Is that an emergency?
No. Who's our left back?
Well, Rico Henry, but he's been injured.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with Metham just because he's got into the Wales team and he looked good in the game I saw against Ireland.
Who's he?
He's left-footed, which I always like. The left footer and the right footer at centre back. He's a centre back.
Okay.
But I think he'll get a Prem move at some point because he looks very good. I've put him down. Dolan, sorry, Rich. Dolan obviously can't name you any players, so he's not
bad.
He's not helped. Talking to transfers, we seem to have been linked with Barry Bannon and Kieran Smith. Your mate
Bannon
has asked about this. To me, it's complete fabrication.
I just said it's. No, I said to him on the phone yesterday. It's just so Aston Villa, isn't it? If we were to, buy back Barry Bannon for £8 million.
I mean, it's not going to happen.
Give him 45 grand a week. It's just so Aston Villa, isn't it? I don't think it'll happen. But he runs that midfield for Sheffield Wednesday, and
he's a good player. I'm not saying I always liked him when he was at us.
So did I. Thought he was very handy.
His games come on though. He can really he's the Championship, so it's different to the level he was playing at when he was at Villa. But he can dictate a game in the Championship.
Totally.
A bit like Ryan Woods when he was at Brentford. He's busy. He gets around. He pops up everywhere. And he receives the ball, and I think that is something we're missing. I do think Connor could do that job. I'm not going to lie. That's what I think. And long term, I think that is what will happen. But if he's not going to play Connor there and he sees Connor as a more attacking midfielder, I think we need someone who can do that busy role and dictate the play from deep, come deep and get the ball off the centre backs, ping one around. Because that's what Ryan Woods did very well. Every time he played Brentford, he'd just appear everywhere and completely dominate the game.
He hasn't done much for Stoke though, has he?
I mean, Stoke haven't done well under Rowett. It's not gone as planned, really, has it at all? It's not gone well for Stoke, and he's under severe pressure. We touched on it at QPR in the QPR review that we've been doing, and I put down here about expectations and patience. Gary Eaton says, how do I avoid negative Villa fans? Because he obviously wants to be quite positive about things, even though it's been a mixed start under Smith's tenure so far. And I told this story on Twitter.
How do you avoid it? You don't go on. I haven't been on the AFC hashtag for the last 7 days.
Haven't you? That's unlike you because you're quite busy on Twitter.
Really therapeutic.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I check everything. I'm terrible.
I did, but I just sort of thought, well, what's the if I had sat and watched that game at home, or had I just watched the game, if I was out and followed the game on the hashtag, I guarantee it would not have been portrayed the way it was portrayed.
Oh no,
live,
100%
how we saw it.
But let me say, and I'm going to tell my story that I told on social media, and I know every fan is entitled to their opinion. I'm not saying they're not. But to me, this was ridiculous as I was walking out. I heard someone say, he's probably in his 50s, 60s, so knocking around my dad's age. Knocking around my dad's age. I probably told you in the pub afterwards.
I wasn't listening.
He said, this manager's clearly no better than the last one. I mean, he's had 3 games.
What's he basing that on?
Probably about 3 full training sessions with the players. At some point, there needs to be some sensibility. I know everyone's entitled to their opinion, but there has to be some kind of rational opinions coming around. To say that after 3 games when we've actually played all right, it's not like we played terribly, is it? Whatever you think of the game, we weren't terrible.
No, we weren't.
We had a lot of the ball. You have to see that there's although results haven't been great, they've been mixed.
Yeah.
You have to see that there's tangible progress in what the players are doing, and what Smith is trying to implement. And like you say, he hasn't got a magic wand. You can't just implement something overnight.
I blame our social media team as well. Some of the nonsense they were putting up whenever we appointed him. They put a video up of a Brentford goal, and it's like is new football, the brand of football, this and tippy tappy, and I don't
want to say stuff from other teams if I'm being honest.
I don't, but no, not at all. But when you're building up this guy before he's even had a game, and just the only way for him is down.
He's saying we should be tempering expectations a little bit.
Level. Do you know what I mean? Just keep it sensible.
I mean, I better not say anything because I'll get in trouble.
No, I can, but. I just think some of the nonsense that I read on there, and then that just sparks people tweets and nonsense, and that prompts negativity, and it just doesn't help. It just doesn't help anyone.
You just prefer it to be a bit more level-headed.
Just be a lot more level-headed. You know what I mean? And because everyone's got an opinion these days, and everyone can.
Yeah, but everyone's entitled to that. I'm not
totally.
But you do see. I mean, people might look at my Twitter and think what I say is nonsense. People might look at yours and say,
"You do.
This guy's got a split personality." But everyone is entitled to opinions, aren't they? Mm-hmm. But to hear that walking out the ground, I could not believe it.
But there's some opinions like that are just wrong.
But this guy is older than me. He'll probably go to the Villa every home and away game. To be honest, and spend a lot of money.
I don't know where
he can't possibly think that. He cannot possibly think that. I don't know whether he's saying it to get attention at the end of the game, maybe for someone to to lash out at him and argue with him and have an argument.
I thought our fans were great on Friday night. I thought we were really trying to suck the ball in. I thought we were really trying to...
Yeah. And in the main, our fans are brilliant.
Course.
Our fans are so good, especially away from home.
Yeah.
Unbelievable the numbers.
Friday night.
And a Friday night, I mean, it's easy for us. It's easy.
Yeah, we just
live down the road. For me, it's perfect.
Totally.
I wish we could play all our games in London whilst I'm down here. That'd be great. But I mean, I will say you must have been sitting in a different area to me because I heard some ridiculous things.
I was down on the same road as you. I was slightly to your left hand side.
I mean, again, I don't want to criticise the fans too much because, as I've said, this is brilliant, and I'm a minority I'm picking on here.
Yeah.
But I heard someone say, and they were being genuinely serious, that Balassi would have kept that ball in if he didn't have gloves on, and he was being serious.
What?
Balassi was wearing gloves.
Right. So
obviously that's deemed as being weak in this day and age to wear gloves, and he didn't quite make it to keep a ball in.
It's not Gaelic football, like.
I mean, mate, some of the stuff you hear is ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but yeah, I just think patience is definitely needed.
But whenever you're paying 40 quid for a ticket and 60 quid for travel and then another 50 quid on food and drink, and you're paying £200 from your hard-earned wages, you're entitled to an opinion and you're entitled to say whatever you want. But
I mean, our mate Aston Radford, he travels the length and breadth of the country.
If you're not happy about it, then just don't travel. Don't spend the money. Don't do it. That's what I would say. I always think the best way to hurt a club, if you're genuinely annoyed about who's in charge or if you're annoyed about the way the club's run, don't go.
But you can't. In my opinion, you can't be annoyed about anything so far. This season's not been great because everything's new.
Exactly.
Everyone's new. The player.
Exactly.
I like the players that we have. I don't think there's a bad egg amongst them.
No.
I think they're all good players. Mm-hmm. I think they all. I would never accuse them of not putting the effort in. I don't think that's anything I've ever levelled at any of those players that are there. No. That they're not putting it in.
And I've never seen a player.
People have not been very good.
I've never seen a player like Tammy on loan he
was gutted,
passionate and so upset.
He was gutted at the end.
He was, and he came over and he was like, you could see, and even against Millwall, he came over and you could see like.
It felt like to me he was apologising for missing that chance.
He was, of course he was. And that's what you want to see,
I think he's an all or nothing guy. Wherever he is, he'll put everything into it, Tammy.
I reckon me and Tammy would get on quite well.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to come on to someone who you didn't get on well with on Friday. I think you know what's coming.
Who?
You know what I'm going to say here.
Dan.
We were hanging around outside the ground. We both know Ian Taylor, so he came out.
Such a name drop.
And mate, I've got a story about your name drop. Anyway, so we're having a chat with Tails. And then suddenly entering the QPR reception, an Irish hero. Not my hero. To be fair, if he'd have
Daniel O'Donnell.
If he'd have come and spoke to us, I actually don't know what I would have done because I
don't want to thank you for the memories.
I wouldn't have done. I'd have ignored him. But anyway, you could probably guess. We saw Martin O'Neill and Dolan.
I didn't see him. We were chatting to Tails.
No, you saw him.
No, Tails saw him first, and then he was like, "Oh, there's O'Neill," and I was like, "Where?" And then I shouted, I was like, "Martin."
Oh, you did it. You did it a hell of a lot more times than twice.
And he
did it at least 5 or 6 times. And then
and his phone rang.
Martin O'Neill faked a phone call so that he didn't have to interact with Dolan, and it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. And everyone knows I'm not a massive fan of Martin O'Neill at all, but he did go up slightly in my estimations. It was so obvious the phone hadn't gone as well.
I'm glad.
He put it up to his ear, and he just did not speak to it. He must have took one look at Dolan's mouth and just thought, I don't fancy that.
The Belfast accent. I thought, oh God.
Yeah,
not one of those.
He's Northern Irish.
He is, yeah.
I mean, I don't understand all the history.
Let's not get into politics.
Yeah, let's not do politics in this show. Basically, my conclusion of QPR away was lovely day. Shame about the result. You do always have a good day in the main. We said we didn't in Millwall. We didn't in Millwall. It was all rubbish.
That was grim.
We had a lovely day. But then the result lets it down, doesn't it?
It does, man. It does. But like football, I was going to say football's not always about the result. But
no,
I think I get less affected by a game of football whenever I'm at the game.
Yeah.
Because you've such a good day and the atmosphere is great and we had really good fun, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We had a great day, mate. I enjoyed your company.
Good steak sandwich in the Ivy.
I enjoyed it. Don't drop that kind of thing. I can't remember. Burger and chips I think I had, mate, but no one cares about what we ate for our lunch before the game. Keeping with the theme of being blanked.
There was a couple of good. Yeah, there was a couple.
I've took some screenshots here. A couple of. I asked the Villa View public to come back and asked if they've ever been blanked by any Villa players or managers, previous or current. Miss Katie Jane on Twitter said, "I was blanked by Dion Dublin once. Does that count?" It does very much so. She said, I was about 7 mind, asked for an autograph before a match, and he was too busy. So I tweeted him when I first got Twitter, and he asked for my address and apologised. He sent me a signed pic from when he was at Man U. Probably should have been specific, or is he mugging me off again? He's actually sent a signed Manchester United picture and a signed Norwich picture. I'm imagining Kay's got quite a heavy Birmingham accent. I don't know. But that's a guess. So I think he's done. I think that's a bit vindictive from Dion. I think he's probably done that on purpose.
I think it's quite nice.
Yeah, it's good. Good fair play to him for sending it. I'm surprised he would blank in real life.
He didn't know what team he should support it.
No, but he should have maybe gone for an England shirt or something just to play it safe, or a home under the hammer picture maybe. Although I'm not sure if he was involved with that then. Alex Often. Mad Johnny C and myself got blanked by Zat Knight and Nigel Reo-Coker, sat outside their hotel in London as we wished them good luck for a match against West Ham the next day. Petrov was there also, looking bewildered, not knowing whether to follow their lead or actually say something. That says to me that Petrov's a nicer guy than Zat Knight and Nigel Reo-Coker. Johnny C actually then replies saying, awkward times. Faith restored the next day with Melberg's shirt giveaway, but Zat Knight and Reo-Coker can do one.
What does it actually say?
No, I didn't want to swear, darling, didn't want to cause Rollo any editing, so yeah. He's been blanked there. Have you ever been blanked before by anyone? Because obviously you know a lot of famous people. Have you ever been blanked by anyone, or is it just Martin O'Neill who doesn't like you?
Just Martin O'Neill.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Longy on Twitter as well says we were in Studebakers, and I'll tell you what, that is going back a long time. One night in the late 90s.
90s, wow.
Bozzy, Yorkie and Hugo were at the bar. Bozzy was smoking a cigar.
What a trio.
My mate Jake, a fitness fanatic, was fuming. So we wound up to go and tell Bozzy what we thought about it. Bozzy laughed in his face. It was hilarious. I mean, that's not really been blanked, is it? That's just been disrespected and being laughed at. I'll try to think if I'd ever been blanked by anyone to do with Villa, and I probably have, but if I have, I've erased it from my brain. But I had a moment where I thought I was quite cool and absolutely no one saw it when I was younger.
When was this?
This is name dropping, and it's everything I've been criticising you for. But mates with Hitzelsberger, as I've mentioned before on the podcast, and it was pelting it down with snow one day. Neither my mum or dad would give me a lift to school. They'd give my sister a lift because her school was further away, but they wouldn't drop me, go anywhere near out their way to drop me at school because I could walk there.
Right.
So I'd walk in the freezing cold, and luckily I walked out just as Hitz was driving to training, and my school was on the way to the training ground, so he's like, do you want a lift? And I thought...
He didn't, did he?
I thought, yeah, I'll have a lift.
No, he didn't, did he?
Yeah, he lived right by me.
Yeah, but he didn't drive you, did he?
No, he drove. So he was like, do you want to lift to school? I was like, yeah. Jumped in his nice car, thinking I was the dogs.
Right.
Thinking I can't wait to pull up and everyone's going to be like, look at him getting out of that car. And I'll tell you what, there was not a soul outside the gate. No one saw me. I was so disappointed. I thought I was going to look... This was my one chance to look cool at school. And no one was there.
But that wasn't a story about being blanked.
Well, I felt like I was blank because there was no one there, and if there was people there, they didn't even notice it.
Was this when he was playing for us?
He was playing. Yeah, he's in the team. He's in the team. I'm still quite young. I'm still quite young, Dolan. So he was in the team when I was at school.
That's very cool.
Should we do the dreaded predictions?
Go on then.
Yeah. As you know, on the Villa View, we like to put our neck on the line. It's our kind of version of Super 6, although no one really wins £1 million.
No.
You just get ridiculed when you get things wrong. So just a little recap of September. After Tom initially got it wrong, him and Rolinson came out on top that month with 6 points. So the point system is you get 3 points if you get a score bang on.
Right.
1 point if you get the who wins the game.
Right.
Correct. So we did our October predictions. It's not been a great month for anyone, but one person's definitely come off worse. So no.
Oh, all right.
So you picked up 4 points.
Okay. What did I?
You got the Norwich result bang on, which gave you 3 points. So well done for that. We lost 2-1, but you obviously get a little bit of a consolation prize for that. TJ also predicted 2-1 for Norwich for us to lose. He got 4 points that month as well because he got another result. Yeah. Right. I got the Millwall game bang on that we'd lose 2-1, so I also get 4 points this month. Rollo, 1 point. He had Swansea down that we'd win. We all had us to beat Swansea, except for you. Actually, you had it says here you got 2-2. So we all had. I think I've wrote that down wrong actually.
But these were under Bruce though.
Well, we thought he was going to be under Bruce, didn't we? So Rolinson predicted badly. He only got 1 point this month. So now we've got to make our predictions for November. So I think overall that Tom is quite well clear of the table in the Villa View Championship. And remember, the loser will take on a forfeit decided by the Villa View public at the end of the season.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tom's on 10 points.
You had a good September, didn't you?
No. Well, he was all right at 5. Tom got 6 and Rolinson got 6 though, so
I got 2.
could have been better. Yeah. So Tom's leading the way at the moment, but we're going to go through it now. So I need your predictions for November and play along at home if you're driving along in your car. Maybe you'd like to have a little go. Comment as well. Your predictions.
Don't be playing along in your car.
Well,
Keep your eyes on the road.
I mean, you don't need your hands to make predictions, Dolan, unless you're adding. I mean, I don't think we're going to be scoring anything over 2 hands, so I think we'll be all right.
Pull over the side of the road. And
so Bolton at home. Oh, that's a funny stomach noise something just made there, Dolan. So I'll tell you what TJ has predicted. He's gone for Villa to win 2-1 this Friday. Rollo's gone for Villa to win 2-0.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
3-0.
3-0 Villa.
Pulled them.
Wow. I'm going to go 1-0 again.
Yeah.
Like last season, 1-0, tight.
Yep.
I think we'll play well. I think we'll dominate the game, but we'll lack maybe that finishing touch. I'm going to go 1-0 again.
Okay.
2-1 away at Derby last season. What do you go? No, 2-0, sorry, away at Derby last season.
1-0.
You going 1-1?
I don't think Derby have a great squad. I just think they've been very well coached.
I mean, they've got some good players, to be fair. Rollo thinks Derby are going to win 2-0 again. So does TJ. I'm going to go for a 1-0 to Derby. So we've all predicted Villa to lose.
Tough place to go, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm hoping. Well, I'm definitely hoping that's the only defeat of November. Next one, I couldn't even bring myself to write Birmingham City, so I've just put Scum at home down on the sheet, which I'm sure will go down well. So TJ's gone for a KG 1-1.
It's going to be
They're doing well, aren't they?
It's going to be a lot tougher than it has been over the last.
Rollo's gone for 2-1 to Villa. There's no way I'm predicting anything but a Villa win there.
You saying
2-1 as well, like Rollo.
1-0.
You going 1-0?
Yeah.
1-0 to Villa.
Yeah.
Who's bagging?
Tammy.
I've thrown you there, haven't I?
Sammy.
And then a few days later, it's actually Tom's done this and he's done it wrong. He's put Forest away.
Forest at home.
It's actually at home. So 3 home games in a month. I expect maximum points from home games. Yeah. So Tom's gone for 1-1. Rolinson's gone for 1-1.
3-1 Villa.
3-1 Villa.
Yeah.
Dolan, he's back. He's back doing what he does best. Absolute wild predictions. I'm going to go another 1-0.
Forest, they're a little bit. I mean,
the Jekyll and Hyde, aren't they?
They really are. I think Graben will score. He'll come back and cause us problems. But
so you've gone for an unbeaten month, as you so often do.
Deep down, I think we'll get beaten by Derby, but I want to try and keep it positive.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Credit to you. We'll obviously come back at the end of November and review what disasters have gone down there. I've got down there about Smith's first 3 games. We've kind of covered it. I think we will win most of our home games under Smith, like we did under Bruce when he first came in. I think it's just a way where we've not got it. There's something needs to change away. Perhaps we need to set up a bit different.
We were so good away last season.
We still lost the odd game that you'd expect us to win, and that was what cost us in the long run. Bolton, Hull 0-0 where we should have lost.
Yeah.
They were the games that cost us, really, weren't they? Jatinder said he's not too downbeat because he can see a difference in style. We're just lacking the finishing touch, which is pretty much what we've said. We've kind of discussed Keith Price's, which members of the squad will struggle with Smith's style. I can't see a future for Yednak or Whelan long term. I mean, they're getting on anyway.
Whelan, Lansbury.
Do you not think Lansbury could play the style, though? No?
No.
Okay.
What about Micah Richards? Is he gonna?
He'll never play for the club again. By the looks of things, neither will Ross McCormack. By his recent comments, what components are we missing? What do you think is the one thing we're missing? Do you think it's just time? Do you think the players are already there?
It's a solid goalkeeper.
You think?
Do
you not want to give Nathan a bit of time?
No, because he's just cost.
Have you not seen a slight improvement?
No, not at all. But even when he makes a save, he just palms it into nowhere. He just palms it out. There's no.
I mean, I think that's modern day goalkeeping. I think a lot of goalkeepers do that.
Yeah, but if you're smart and clever, you can palm it away. You know, like surely you must have an idea of where the ball is going to go, and you can direct it with your hands. I just think he's. I just don't rate him at all, and I think.
But weren't you saying the same things about Sam Johnston when he first came? Were you not?
No,
I know I did.
No, I was saying that about.
I've held my hands up many times.
I was saying it about Galini. I thought he was a bit of a rabbit.
Never let him go
in headlights, but I just see so many similarities between Galini and Neil, and that bring in the kid Sarkis from under 23s.
It's a big jump from 4th choice. What about Mariah? What was the point of that at the moment?
Well, I think we've got 3 really, really average goalkeepers. But
we don't know that Mariah's average because we haven't really seen him.
Well, he was pretty average against Colchester, wasn't he?
Saved a penalty.
I know, but he was on the whole. He made me very nervous.
Yeah, I've not felt.
And I know I'm not a defender by any means. I'm not even a footballer, but
well, you have interest.
God knows. But if you're playing,
you're a music man.
Surely, if you're in the back 4, you need that confidence. You need someone behind you that just to feel that everything's going to be okay. You know,
is it not a two-way street? Because he must not feel that with the defence. Or do you think it's a kind of knock-on effect from both? They're both kind of knocking on from each other.
I honestly think we should go. If we're looking at, there was a few questions about who would you bring in January, a left back, and a goalkeeper, and another centre half.
I just think
because going forward we've got an embarrassment of riches.
I still think Neelan will come good.
I don't. He's all over the shop. Doesn't coming in for corners. He flaps.
Yeah, he doesn't like coming up.
Shot stopping. He's cagey. His kicking's dreadful. Kicking on Friday was dreadful.
You still used to have the opinion that Jed Steer shouldn't have been removed.
No, I thought I'd have kept Jed Steer. Yeah, Jed Steer. I mean, what about Jed Steer?
I've set you off now.
I forgot
that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
Well, Charlton fans aren't really having him, but
I know.
No,
what are they saying?
What
are your Charlton connections saying?
Few blunders.
Yeah, really. I've not.
Friends here.
I must have not looked out for it.
There's been a bit of stick, but
Smith was having trouble with his goalkeepers at Brentford before he came here because Bentley had made a couple of horrific errors, and he's a good keeper and his distribution's top notch. But he'd come out the side for Daniels.
Didn't he go to Fulham? Who did they? Didn't they?
No, that was Button. Yeah, he went. What's he doing nowadays? I think he's at Brighton, second or third choice.
I would get in. I'd make a move for John Nutty. Myself and Kieran were discussing this.
He's quite happy being number 2 in the Premier League.
He's not true. He was on BT Sport.
Was that?
Miserable. Giving off. Complaining.
I don't think he fits what Smith would want in the goalkeeper. I'm not sure his distributions.
He's a quality keeper.
His distribution top draw.
Well, it's far better than what we've got. I just honestly, I think
I'm going to stick up for Neil, and I think it's been difficult to come in goal. We've been all over the place.
So's he.
But things that went for a goalkeeper. As I say, I think it's a two-way thing, but Chester's mistake, and I love Chester, but he made a mistake on Friday. There's no way around that. That is completely out of character what he did.
Yeah.
He was so indecisive, and that's just not what he's been about. But it's individual errors that have cost us this season. In tight games, we will find a way to lose. At the moment, we will make a mistake, and we'll lose the game. Norwich, the corner, 1-0 up. Corner, keeper comes out, Hutton doesn't clear his lines. We're finding ways to lose tight games, but I think that's a collective thing. I don't think Neil's made mistakes. I'm not saying he hasn't. I don't think you can put it down just to him. All over the place, we've been making mistakes. People have done things that are uncharacteristic, and that Chester one's epitomised the season for me so far. Tight game. If we hadn't gone behind, we may well have gone on and won that game.
Yeah.
But he's just made a mistake that's completely out of character. That he'd never, 99 times out of 100, he deals with that. But he let the ball bounce, and when you let the ball bounce, you leave yourself open to problems, and he's just completely stopped, and the guy's nicked in. Good finish to be fair to him, and put it in. But I get what you're saying about Neeland, and he's coming for a lot of stick under social media. I guess maybe I'm being a bit more conservative because I've learnt my lesson about my Sam Johnston criticisms.
I thought Johnson settled in a lot quicker than that.
I would also argue he had a better defence in front of him, a more settled defence. Baker and Chester would sound like a young kid doing bits that season. They were good. Hutton was having a bit of a renaissance at that point as well at right back. Taylor was playing well. Taylor was great when he first came in. He did not hit those heights.
No.
Since I think you've got to look at it as a collective thing. He's made errors, not saying he hasn't, but to me you've got to look at it as a
Friday
collective.
Will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how we are and how we've improved, because he's he'll have had a full week in the training pitch, and it'll be interesting.
You think he'll make changes?
I do, yeah. I think he'll go for more of the team that we thought he would go against Swansea.
I'm just not convinced he'll change that back line. I think he's got those four, and I think he's going to try and make them a unit. That's my opinion. And the goalkeeper's got till January, I think, to get to top form.
I think John Terry's going to have a lot of say in that back four, and I think he
was certainly doing the drills in the warm up at Swansea.
I think he likes Hutton, but personally, one of our best centre backs is on the bench, John Terry.
Well, yeah, we'd all love to see John Terry back in there, mate, but it's just not going to happen. Got down here. I don't want to do Bolton too much because obviously we want people to watch our match preview that we're about to record after this, and if we talk too much about it, no one's going to watch the match preview, and we'll have nothing to say because neither of us have made any notes or done any research for that one. So make sure you tune into that because it should be an absolute belter. Promises to be great. O'Hare didn't play for the under-23s this week, which says to me he might be in the 18 on Friday. because you'd think he'd be involved. There was a few of them not involved, actually. I don't think Bedu was involved.
I was going to mention earlier on whenever we were discussing centre-backs.
Well,
he came from,
don't think he can play that.
Bury. He came from Bury for, was it like £1 million we bought him for?
Good money. Good memory as well.
So he wasn't cheap. He came in Bruce's first window. But he came in as
smacks to me of a Steve Round signing.
Yeah, well, he came in as Bruce said, as a development player to play for the under-23s. So,
do you think he should be developed by now to play?
You'd think so, I've
heard he's not ready. I don't see much of the under-23, so I don't know.
But we don't need a centre back. I think Tuanzebe and Chester as a duo, or.
But after that. I'm not saying put better in the team. Should he be in the 18?
Yeah, definitely.
Should he be integrated?
Definitely. 100%.
Over Jedinak at centre back?
100%.
Yeah?
Yep.
I don't like Jedinak at centre back at all, but I think when he's not on the pitch, we kind of lack something organisational wise. Now, obviously, we've lost Terry's organisation. I think Snodgrass was a bit of an organiser as well. You then take Jedinak out, who is an organiser and a leader. It leaves you short of organisers.
We do look a little bit light in terms of that real leader.
And plus, we look shaky from set plays.
Yeah,
and he's someone that probably will clear the ball 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Totally. No, I agree. But
at this point, I don't see him being here.
Definitely O'Hare.
Do you think he'll be in the 18? And do you think Lansbury sat on that bench?
He's close to starting, O'Hare, surely. He's close to getting the start.
Who instead of, though? Who's he going to play instead of?
Well, when I say start, he's close to coming on.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
No, he's close to becoming
the 12th man.
Part of the team, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And he was, I thought he'd be settled in by now, because
he's had an injury. He was out for 10 weeks. Dean Smith's name checked him, which is a positive for him. Harry McCurdy's the one I'm a bit disappointed he keeps having injuries, because he's someone who's done like the Grealish route when he was at Notts County. McCurdy did well on loan last season. I think he was at Crewe, was he?
Who's the kid who's doing really well at the minute?
Jack Clark?
Mitchell Clark.
Again, he shouldn't be on loan. He should be in and around the 18, Clark.
He looks a player.
He will be a player. He would definitely be a player, Mitch Clark.
What's happening there with that one, do you know?
It's probably best for him to get a full season playing men's football, isn't it? But we're short at the back, and we need to. I think we need to change something. But as I say, I don't think we will. I've got in my head that that's going to be the cohesive unit. He's going to try and make something out of those 4 till January to make us tighter. And it's not like we're shipping loads of goals, is it?
No.
The goals we ship are bad.
Yeah. They're all errors. I mean, there was a stat there last week. We have dropped 10 points from winning positions.
Yeah, you said at the start.
We only dropped 4.
You like that stat, don't you? You were saying that on Friday.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
We dropped 4 last season from winning positions.
Is that all?
Apparently so, yeah.
To be fair, when we went ahead last season, that was game over, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolute game over.
Yeah.
Things will change. I'm sure they'll definitely change for us. Sticking with Bolton briefly, would you say this is must win on Friday?
Yeah.
Absolute must win.
They're all must win.
Well, they're not all must win, are
where
they?
we are at the minute, they're all must win. If we've got any ideas of pushing for top 6, they're all must win. Absolutely.
I mean until anything's mathematically impossible, you keep going for that, but autos feels a long way away when you're saying 16th coming into November.
If we can, you look at Fulham last season, and they had a dreadful first sort of 2 or 3 months. They got beaten by Sunderland, Burton beat them, and then all of a sudden something clicked.
I think with Fulham, I think they were playing well, just weren't getting the results.
But I think we played well on Friday, and I think
we did on Friday, but through the season that's not been the case.
No, but if we can, because hopefully our styles of football, I know Smith and Kanovitz have a similar philosophy. Hopefully, if we can just click and just get that confidence going, you never know. It's a funny old game, but
he's in a bit of trouble, isn't he, Jokanovic, as well now in the Premier League.
I know.
They've done.
Could you imagine if we run?
I feel like they've done too much business because they spent 100 mil, but not maybe the right business. And he's going through that thing where he changes the defence every week.
Yeah,
and it's why I'm saying Smith. That's why I think Smith
have to keep it.
I think he's trying to be. I think it's clever. I think he might not necessarily be the back four we want to see, but he's sticking to his guns and trying to make that a unit because that will make us better in the long term this season.
Agreed.
Or take us through to January. And let's face it, we've got some tough games in December. I dread to think what the December predictions will be, depending on what happens in November.
You never know how. Yeah. Confidence is a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I don't want to go into Bolton too much, but I think we're pretty much done. I'm going to finish with a question that's come in from Raw on Twitter.
From who?
Raw.
R-A-W?
Well, yeah, Raw is in the Lions Raw, I'm presuming. That's as we are the Lions, mate.
I said you did Raw.
Someone at work earlier said, Raw. I heard this story earlier at work, said he's French, this guy, and he said, where is Dan from? And the guy was like, Birmingham. he was like, what's with his accent? I thought he was Australian. This guy needs to get something in his ears. Do I sound Australian? I don't think I'll ever do.
You did there, actually.
When you say Australian, you tend to.
Sound Australian.
You tend to go. I can do one phrase in Australian.
Go on.
Oh yeah, that's all it is. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tom's the accents, man. Let's finish with this question anyway. I digress.
From Raw.
You're given £15 million to spend. Who do you bring in? One player.
One player?
I mean, the player I've put down I don't think would cost 15 million, but I think he'd probably be double figures. Ignore my first one. I just put Eze down from QPR because I thought he had a good game. I like him.
I'd bring in a goalkeeper. I'd bring in someone like Westwood.
It's not going to cost you 15 million, but a bit more extravagant.
Well, who's going to come?
His Westwood doesn't even play for Sheffield Wednesday anymore, does he?
He does.
No, he's not. I don't think he's in goal much. I think he's regressed.
Throw it all on a goalkeeper.
You throw it all, but you don't know her.
Well, I mean, you'd probably buy 2 or 3 keepers for that, wouldn't you? But
I don't think we need 2 or 3.
I would throw it all on a goalkeeper.
I've put Matty Target from Southampton. Did very well at Fulham last year.
Yeah.
Interesting that Fulham aren't doing great with Joe Bryan at left back, who we were looking at, who would have probably ripped. But saying that, he'd have ripped up the Championship probably.
Yeah.
But I've gone with Target. Again, another good dead ball deliverer, solid defender, very good going forward. I'm not sure Southampton would sell him because
we were linked again with him.
But they got rid of McQueen, didn't they, to Middlesbrough on loan? So Target's, if anything happens to Bertrand, Target's their left back. So I'd suggest they wouldn't sell him, but maybe they'd be tempted for 15 million. But that's who I've put down. I said the hour, Dolan. The hour is up.
The hour mark.
I think that pretty much does us. Unless you got anything else you want to say.
Not really. No, it was tough on that.
Yeah. Do need to make sure I plug the documentary that Dan Rollinson's put up on his Second City Films YouTube, a follow-on from the documentary that he did with Adam Wright last year. Just a 20-minute thing looking at how Adam Wright, who does fan cams, obviously, has got a stammer. We spoke about him before. You'll have seen him on fan cams. The progress he has made has been absolutely unbelievable, and for the Villa View to have played a tiny part in that is really, really satisfying. And I can't tell you, I can't explain how highly I think of Adam. I think he's a top man, and he's doing something, as was discussed in the documentary. It's something you don't even think about that people suffer with, and he has come such a long way. So it's worth watching that documentary on Second City Films if you haven't. If you haven't watched the one from last year, firstly, watch that. This is just a little follow-on. Adam was all over the place last week. Channel 5.
He was,
Birmingham University.
Yeah.
He's come a long way since fan cams. Adam, he's everywhere now. So make sure.
A swanky Luke Roper shirt.
Yeah, he looked good in the Luke Roper, didn't he?
Burgundy Luke Roper.
He looked good in the Luke Roper. So yeah, check that out if you can, please. That would mean a lot to Rollo. Rollo obviously puts a lot into the Villa View, and obviously it would mean a lot to Adam as well, who's trying to raise awareness for stammering, which he suffers with. So yeah, thank you very much for listening or watching this podcast. If you have enjoyed it and you're watching via YouTube, then give it a like. If you've listened via iTunes, then leave us a 5-star review, and that would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to comment on YouTube with your predictions. We've done ours. No doubt they're all wrong, but yeah, have a go and play along yourself. Have I said give the video a like? I've completely lost where I am. If you're not already subscribed to the Villa View with your post notifications on, then if you could do that, that also helps the channel grow. Recently hit 13k, so thank you very much for all your support. Dolan and myself will be doing a match preview right after this, so watch out for that if you are a Villa View fan via YouTube. And also there'll be fan cams on Friday outside the whole end after the game. I'll be there hopefully talking about 3 points with all the wonderful Villa fans that come and speak to us. Thank you ever so much for all your support once again. Hope you've enjoyed the podcast. Good to have Dolan back, even though I've had to do the notes of the Villa,
which was like hardly anything on there.
Give me a break. Say the Villa and let's be done with it.
Up the Villa.
I'm done. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.